On November 19th, 2025, the United Kingdom's Secretary of Defense, John Healey, made an extraordinary statement. And when I say extraordinary, I mean it's extremely rare for a government to publicly declare what he said. See what he said.
As I said, a Russian spy ship, the Yantar, is on the edge of United Kingdom waters north of Scotland. It has entered the wider United Kingdom waters in recent weeks. This is a ship designed to gather intelligence and map our undersea cables. We have deployed a Royal Navy frigate and Royal Air Force P-8 aircraft to monitor and track every movement of this ship.
We see you. We know what you're doing. We're ready. Sounds like something out of a spy movie, right? But what's behind that statement is something concerning. Let's start with what exactly happened that day. A Russian ship called Yantar was sailing near British waters. It wasn't the first time. In fact, that ship had been lurking off the United Kingdom coast for weeks, but on the 19th, Russia crossed a line. The United Kingdom sent a maritime patrol aircraft, a P-8A Poseidon, to investigate the ship. This isn't just any plane. It's a multi-million-dollar aircraft, equipped with sophisticated radar and sensors capable of detecting anything on the surface or underwater. Along with the Poseidon, the United Kingdom also dispatched a Royal Navy Type 23 frigate to closely monitor the Russian ship. And possibly, according to flight tracking data, even Typhoon fighter jets with aerial refueling tanks were mobilized. The British response was massive, and this tells us that they took the situation very seriously. So, what did Russia do? The crew of the Yantar directed lasers at the British plane and potentially at the ships as well. Now, you might be thinking, lasers. Is that really that serious? The answer is yes, because there are two types of lasers that Russia could be using. The first type are the so-called dazzlers. These lasers have enough energy to temporarily blind optical sensors and even pilots' eyes. And imagine you're flying a plane at hundreds of kilometers per hour, and suddenly an intense green flash hits your vision. You instinctively turn away. The aircraft's sensors stop working. It's extremely dangerous. But there's a second type of laser, and this one is even more concerning. These are high-energy lasers capable of burning holes in airplane fuselages and ship hulls. Russia has access to this technology. The problem is that, at that moment, the United Kingdom didn't know what type of laser was being used. Today, they might be relatively harmless dazzlers. Tomorrow, it could be a laser capable of bringing down an aircraft. And that uncertainty is exactly what Russia wants to create. So, what was the United Kingdom's response? Well, Healey didn't stay silent. He made it clear that the United Kingdom had been tracking Yantar for weeks. And more than that, he revealed something interesting. The last time Yantar was in British waters, the Royal Navy made a nuclear attack submarine surface right next to the Russian ship, and the Russian crew didn't even realize the submarine was there. It was a show of force, a clear message. We know exactly where you are, and you have no idea where we are. Healey also announced that he changed the Navy's rules of engagement. Now, British ships can follow the Yantar even more closely, and the government has military options ready in case the ship gets even closer to the British coast. But that raises an important question. Why the United Kingdom? The answer lies in the role the country has played in the war in Ukraine. The United Kingdom is not just a supporter of Ukraine. It leads the so-called Coalition of the Willing, an alliance of countries committed to Ukraine's ongoing security. British intelligence has been fundamental for Ukraine to carry out some of its most effective attacks against Russia. British weapons are regularly used in these attacks. Because of this, Russia has chosen the United Kingdom as its villain of choice in Europe. The Russian Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, has publicly attacked the United Kingdom. He even used a Russian proverb to describe the British, saying they are like a goose coming out of the shower, someone who always escapes the consequences of their actions.
Provoking various situations, including the recent case in which the Federal Security Service revealed a plot intended to force one of the Russian pilots in a fighter jet armed with a Kinzhal missile to fly to Romania, with the clear objective of organizing the downing of that plane there, accusing Russia of attacking the North Atlantic Alliance. But let's put that aside. Here, the Federal Security Service was very detailed, and I don't know how the British are going to get out of this situation. Although their ability to behave like a goose that just got out of the shower is well known.
The Russian Foreign Intelligence Service was even more direct, stating that London, just like on the eve of both world wars, is acting as the main provocateur of global war. And all this rhetoric is not accidental. It's part of an information campaign to isolate the United Kingdom from its European allies and justify hostile actions. But there's another reason why the Yantar is in British waters. And that reason is technical. The Yantar is not just an ordinary spy ship. It carries specialized equipment, including submersibles capable of diving up to 6,000 meters deep. That's twice the depth needed to reach the wreck of the Titanic. And do you want to know why that matters? Because the United Kingdom depends on critical underwater infrastructure. Communication cables that connect the country to the rest of the world, and most importantly, gas pipelines. A maritime expert from the Royal United Services Institute's Study Center explained that while communication cables have some redundancy, gas pipelines do not. The United Kingdom relies on a few critical gas pipelines. If one of them is damaged, the consequences would be severe.
Events in the Baltic highlight how vulnerable Britain's offshore pipelines and cables are to hostile nations. The North Sea drilling platforms are connected by a network of oil pipelines. These then feed into larger arteries, which come ashore in Shetland and Orkney. Mainland Britain also imports gas from Norway through a pipeline laid up to 360 meters below the waves. It can carry a fifth of the United Kingdom's peak gas demand. And there are pipelines connecting the United Kingdom to Belgium and also to the Netherlands, each one with a similar capacity.
The Yantar has exactly the equipment needed to map where these pipelines are located. And here's the detail that makes everything even more concerning. In November, the United Kingdom introduced a maritime services ban focused on Russian liquefied gas. That could be the reason why Russia sent the Yantar to British waters now, and why it decided to provoke the United Kingdom by using lasers. But the incident on the 19th was not an isolated one. In fact, it's part of a pattern that's becoming increasingly clear. Just 10 days earlier, the Yantar was causing trouble in the Netherlands. The Dutch Ministry of Defense had to escort the Russian ship out of their territorial waters using a patrol vessel. And after the Yantar left, the Dutch sent a hydrographic research vessel to examine the seabed where the Russian ship had been. They needed to make sure that nothing had been planted or sabotaged. The difference? In the Netherlands, the Yantar only observed and didn't use lasers. But 10 days later in British waters, they deliberately escalated to using lasers. That wasn't accidental, and it doesn't stop there. While the Yantar was in British waters, something happened in Poland. A train was bombed. Polish authorities believed the attack was carried out by 2 Ukrainians collaborating with Russia. The suspects fled to Belarus, a puppet state of Russia. The Polish Prime Minister, Donald Tusk, called the attack an unprecedented act. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but the message was clear. Russia carrying out physical sabotage within the territory of NATO members. See the pattern here. Netherlands, just observation. United Kingdom, lasers against military aircraft. Poland, actual explosion. Each incident is bolder than the previous one, and someone in Europe is paying attention. The Italian Minister of Defense, Guido Crosetto, published a 125-page report where he accuses NATO states of inertia in the face of increasingly audacious Russian attacks. He wrote, "Hybrid warfare is ongoing and targets critical infrastructure, decision-making centers, essential services, and the fabric of each country, with daily and increasing risks of catastrophic damage." Then he issued a direct warning. "We are under attack and hybrid bombs keep falling. The time to act is now." And in practice, do you know what that means? Analysts from the Institute for the Study of War explain that Europe is already at war with Russia. It just doesn't look like the wars we know from the 20th century. This is what they call Phase 0, the preparation phase. In this phase, a country maps out critical infrastructure, tests the enemy's defenses, carries out psychological operations, and tries to weaken the will to resist. Yantar is not just observing. He is establishing what the military calls a fire solution, calculating exactly where to strike when the time comes. The lasers used on the 19th were just a test. Russia wanted to see how the United Kingdom would react to direct contact. The next phase, Phase 1, would be when the real kinetic attacks begin. When cables are cut, when pipelines are sabotaged, when preparation turns into destruction. And the warning that experts are giving is that Russia is preparing to make this transition. For now, it's lasers. Tomorrow, it could be a cut internet cable that leaves millions without connection, or a damaged pipeline that leaves cities without heating in the winter. Russia is showing that it has the capability and that it is willing to use it. What happened on November 19th was not just a curious incident involving lasers and ships. It was a symptom of a war that is already happening. A silent war, fought in the shadows, using intimidation, sabotage, and mapping vulnerabilities. And Healy's statement wasn't just about a ship. It was about publicly acknowledging that this war exists, that the United Kingdom will not ignore it, and that it's ready to respond. And you? What do you think? Do you believe we're witnessing the beginning of a new war in Europe? Or is this just Russian intimidation that won't escalate into a real conflict? Leave your opinion in the comments. If you found this content helpful, share it with someone who would also like to understand what's happening. And subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos about geopolitics. See you next time.